Roy Rose recommends approval of the master plan. Is there a second? Alma Smith seconds. Now we have discussion.
As stated, and Ben made the point of this, is the fact that this is a living and a breathing document. And right now, this is the plan that's good for now. And obviously, based upon the comments that we received in the public meeting, there was adjustments that made. And I anticipate as we go forward, as Ben had stated, that there will be adjustments as need arises and as other people comment on this, and we see as we're working through this that there might be a need for an adjustment to adjust it here or there. And I feel that there's been a lot of work put in. I commend our staff for all the effort that they put in on this, and the consultants out there that worked on this with them. It's been a lot of work in what I consider a short period of time, and they've done a lot to this, and it's very much appreciated from us at the board.
Alma.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly echo what Roy has said, and I want to thank the public for attending and for your comments. I especially want to thank those of you in the public who have followed this plan from the very beginning, made your comments, had your input, had it considered, and some of it adopted, and for sticking with us all the way through. We're going to need your support as we go to the ballot. In listening to some of the comments from the leadership in Oakland and Macomb County, I have a couple of observations that I want to make, and one of them is that, we're at the last hour before we can go to the ballot. This plan has been developed over a period of time with consistent input from the members of this board. We have followed the development, and as I often tell my constituents when I was in legislation, this is going to drive me crazy.
Liz, can you mute your phone? Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Liz. I only had to compete with that kind of feedback from myself. Beside myself once before, and it was in Michigan Stadium, and it was just mind-boggling. We have followed this, so nothing in this plan is a surprise. So to have our county execs of Macomb and Oakland saying that, it's thoughtless, it's not regional, it's just not meeting the needs of Oakland County's outlying areas, doesn't square with me. Oakland County has had a tremendous opportunity to bring in the outlying areas of Oakland County by inviting its opt-out communities into smart transit. The leadership of that county has consistently not made that effort to allow its communities to experience transit and the opportunities that transit brings. So to now complain that our plan, the RTA's plan, is not extensive enough is hypocritical. The other issue that I have is that we had county executives tell us that if our millage was much more than 1%, we would not be able to get their support for a ballot initiative. With that limitation, we worked very hard as a board and a staff to develop a plan that would come out within 1 to 1.2 mils. So the limitation that we face that restricts our ability to extend service to the outlying regions of Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne counties was a limitation that was imposed by the county execs who have the audacity to complain that this plan is limited. So it's my hope that the members of this board, with all of the input they've had, with all of the ability that they've had to follow this process and to make comments, have those comments weighed, valued, and addressed by the staff, are now prepared to exercise their responsibilities to their citizens and adopt a plan to put master plan before the people with a ballot initiative and a millage that will allow us to move forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Alma. Other comments? Rena, did you want to make a comment?
I do, Mr. Chairman, thank you. And I too would echo my colleague in thanking the public for attending today, and certainly agree with one of the speakers who questioned whether or not a 1 o'clock meeting made sense versus having something after 5 o'clock, so that more members of the public could in fact attend. And I think that's something we should take under advisement, especially when we're talking about issues as important as this. I dare say that a 5 or 6 o'clock call for a meeting of this nature, we would probably have to move to Coble Hall. But that might be good too, especially if we can have the principals there to actually see just how much support and hear what those comments might happen to be. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to just go on record here in this meeting and echo a couple of comments I made during the committee meeting. And I'll essentially put it into words by saying, when the mayor appointed me to this position over a year ago, as I do in all positions that I take like this, I ask, is there anything in particular you want or need me to do? And he said, just go and represent the citizens of Detroit and the bus riders in the best way possible and think regionally. That's all he said. Just do that. And we don't meet weekly, we don't meet monthly. You know, we don't caucus and try to figure out what kind of strategy we want to employ as I come to this table and take positions on different issues. But he did take the time to call last night. And he put that call in before he went on stage for his big speech before the nation in the convention. And he says, whatever you do, make sure that the city of Detroit is not standing in the way of moving this issue forward. If we have to compromise, let's compromise. I listened to the president last night, said you can be 100% right on any issue, but if you're not willing to compromise, it matters not, because you'll never make progress. And so I certainly took that to heart. And so I say, as we sit here today, I think it's important that we all kind of state where we are and why. And on questions like the 85% rule, or paratransit, or extending routes, or more frequent stops, when there are 180 pages in this plan right here. And I guess I say to you, there's nothing in those 108 pages that Detroit isn't willing to work with, compromise, and maybe make some changes with. There are some things that are not in this plan that we do have concerns about. The bus rapid transit aspect of it, where we think there should be more stops. Paratransit mobility management. The issue regarding American ATU Local 26. Our bus drivers in Detroit have some major issues about this plan and about activities generally going on as it relates to this authority. I personally have an issue with the $3 to $4 wage difference between Detroit drivers and smart drivers, even though that may be an issue of collective bargaining. My point, Mr. Chairman, is that there are things that Detroit would like to see more of, see refined, see it swapped out and changed. But nothing is so important that we would stop this issue from going forward. And so we were prepared to vote yes on the plan today, and we are prepared to vote yes on the ballot language so that that information can be gotten to the proper governmental entities to make sure that it gets to the voters on November 8th, and they in fact can decide up or down what they want to do with regional transit in this region. Thank you.
Any, yes, Don.
I think we just want to clarify that we are very supportive of regional transit. Macomb County is one of the counties that had an all-in. I mean, there were no opt-out. That was our overall philosophy. I personally have worked with people to help them get transit opportunities to and from work. And just a couple days ago, we worked with a senior citizens group who were trying to find a way to get 15 of their members from one place to another. So we're all very, very supportive of that. The challenge that we have right now is one for the financial decision-making process. And what we'd like to do is see the model for Cobo Hall, that Cobo Hall uses, adopted. And as the gentleman here mentioned, that Cobo Hall has that authority has adopted a model, and it has not stopped Cobo Hall from receiving a lot of awards. And this isn't a process that would only benefit Macomb County. This is a process that would benefit all of the participants and partners in this process. So we're very interested in moving this ballot issue forward. What we're concerned is that how do we do that and then protect the investments of and interests of all of the partners in this partnership.
Thank you, Tim. I should have recognized Don Morandini of Macomb County, Tim Sauve, Oakland. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just response to some of the comments and building on what Don said. Regarding the plan itself, Ms. Smith, you made a statement that Oakland and Macomb County thought this plan was thoughtless. That's far from the truth. We know this is a well-thought-out plan. We know the staff worked extremely hard, met with a number of people, met with us a number of times trying to get a well-developed plan. It is not a thoughtless plan, it is a very well-thought-out plan. Do we have some concerns? Yes, we have some concerns. And our concerns are based on the comments here that we need a regional system. I didn't realize the region stopped at 14 Mile. I didn't realize the region stopped at Telegraph Road. That's where most of the lines stop. And not that there's the density out in those areas, but if we're having a regional plan, we really need to include the entire region. And as Mr. Hendricks said, I know from Oakland County's perspective, we are more than willing to compromise and work these things out. I think we have time to do that, to get this off the ground. We do want to get this off the ground. But we have responsibility as well to the people we represent and the elected officials we represent to make sure that we truly have a regional plan.
Thank you. Any other comments? It's been moved and seconded to approve the Regional Transit Master Plan. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay.
Aye.
I think that was an aye, Liz?
Yes, it was, Paul.
Okay, I count 7 votes.
Mr. Chairman, do we need a roll call?
We can take a roll call if you wish. Yeah. Judy, would you? Well, I'll call the roll.
Thank you, sir.
Freeman Hendricks,
Yes.
Alma Smith,
Yes.
Mark Gaffney,
Yes.
Roy Rose,
Yes.
Sonia Mays,
Yes.
Don Morandini,
Yes.
Chuck Moss,
No.
Tim Sauve, Liz Gerber.
Yes.
I do count 7 yeses and 2 nos. A simple majority vote is required to adopt the master plan. The master plan is adopted. Anything else from the planning committee?
Nope, that's all.